You know what that music means. It's time to bring in Money Moves Marks. That's right. Joining us now is NBA front office insider Bobby Marks. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Richard.
You seem so excited. Thanks, Bob. Look, Bobby, we've seen a shift in the last few years when it comes to roster construction. In your eyes, is free agency still the best way to build out your roster?
No, I mean, the days of all-star free agency, of wooing Kevin Durant in the Hamptons and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant teaming up, I think that's over for right now. And when you ask, team execs, it's through the draft and it's certainly through trades. And what we've seen is a lot of extensions recently. And one agent gave the best line. He said, sign now and ask out later down the road. So when you look at why Luka signed that $207 million extension and why Zion will sign next year, it's basically to put a lot of pressure on their organization and then kind of canvas the trade market. But no, the superstar days of free agency, at least for now, are all but over.
Okay, with the changing landscape, are you expecting any big names to hit the free agency market?
Well, I think the two next offseason is certainly going to be Zach LaVine in Chicago. And that really is the only reason why, is because his extension is about $100 million less than what his actual contract could be. And I think we're all monitoring as far as what is going to happen in Washington with Bradley Beal. Extension eligible starting on October 1st, 4 years, $187 million. So those would be your two big names. But I think the interesting thing, out of the last 2 years of All-Stars, out of the 33 players, only 6 potentially could be free agents in the next 2 seasons. So we've got 27 players that are under contract for the foreseeable future here.
All right, Bobby, we saw a big salary cap spike in 2016, and that was part of what helped the Warriors sign KD. Are there any signs of a spike coming via the salary cap?
Yeah, I think we're going to look at it when the new CBA comes up in 2023-24. And also, we're going to probably get an infusion of more TV money that is going to come up. And I think that's where we look at for that next big wave of all-star free agents being out there. The Donovan Mitchells, the Bam Adebayos, the Jason Tatums of the world. Players like that potentially could team up, 3 or 4 years from now when they do become free agents. And this cap takes a huge jump.
All right, Bobby, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Richard.
Thanks, Richard. All right, let's bring back Zach and Pert. Guys, you heard Bobby talk about how the market is changing, and for at least right now, free agency isn't the best avenue for teams to get better. Players are thinking money first and then playing situations second. Now, Zach, I'll start with you. With this new landscape, what does the future of free agency look like from your perspective?
First, I love that the league and the players union made it easier for players to sign lucrative extensions. I think that's good for players and it's good for teams. Second, free agency has only been the best means of building a team for just a few teams in the NBA. That's always been the case. Miami, Los Angeles, in theory, the New York teams, and then finally in reality, Brooklyn. The rest of the league, it's not a free agency destination. You're not getting stars that way. LaMarcus Aldridge here maybe, but it's free agency has never been the best way to build a team for most of the teams in the NBA, other than those starry, cool places with beaches and nightlife and all that stuff. But I do think Bobby's right in the sense that you do see more teams that don't even seem interested in having cap space, but do seem interested in building a lot of tradable players. I look at what Boston did, extending Marcus Smart, extending Josh Richardson. They're prioritizing continuity. Let's keep what we have, prioritize and get some contracts that can make a lot of different trades feasible for us, figure it out down the line. So I do think Bobby's onto something, but sometime soon, maybe not this summer, maybe not next summer, there's going to be a Los Angeles or a Miami or a New York or some team in one of those glamour markets that sees a free agent class coming and lines up its cap space and does something big. I don't think we've seen the end of that forever, but something new is going on here.
Yeah, and look, you're right, Zach, and I agree with you and Bobby, but here's the point I want to make. I don't just think it's going to impact the free agency. I think it's going to impact the CBA, because watching what star players are doing with their max contracts like Ben Simmons and what James Harden did last year, and even guys like, even the John Wall situation where franchises are being stuck with guys that are getting paid over $40 million and don't know what to do with them or can't get rid of their contract or they're disgruntled, right? So I'm looking at this right now and I'm like, shoot, the owners and everybody else are going to go into the CBA and say, hey, we're going to have these certain type of clauses. That's going to also affect free agency and things to that matter. So this is why I'm so big on when guys get their money to make sure they handle things in a professional manner, to make sure that they go about carrying themselves in a certain manner, especially when they get that big bag, because we always have to remember, certain guys paved the way for guys to get big money. And you want to continue to do your job as a franchise guy to help the next generation to continue to get big bags. So that's what I wanted to harp on, more of the CBA that's coming up more than the free agency.
Yeah, free agency should always be a complement to what you are doing. That is the issue. When teams try and say, we're going to get this in free agency, we're going to get this. Well, look at the Phoenix Suns. DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Bridges, Cam Johnson, key pieces to their championship run were all drafted. The Milwaukee Bucks, you had Chris Middleton, you had Giannis, all of these guys, key pieces drafted. And even if you look at the Los Angeles Clippers, when they got Kawhi Leonard in free agency, it's because they had a great team that made it attractive. The Brooklyn Nets, when they got Kyrie and when they got Kevin Durant, they had an attractive team, a playoff team for these guys to show out. If you're just saying that we're going to get this done in free agency, you are going to fail. You have to develop talent from within and then find talent to complement them.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.